Bread Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee, and this is episode 114 of the Wrestle Bread Podcast. So we had a lot of wrestling going on this past week. We have Hell in a Cell coming this Sunday. We had NXT Takeover this past Sunday as well. And yeah, let's get into it. We got a bunch of news and rumors to talk about as well. First things first, NXT has announced that they will be doing the Great American Bash on July 6th, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm thinking about doing a special episode around that time, just reviewing past matches from the Great American Bash, and I'm talking like for ever since the Great American Bash started, so not just WWE. I'll be looking into some of the best matches in the history of this pay-per-view and, do a special episode just reviewing it. So be sure to keep your eye out on that. Another one that actually came out today, MJF came out with a crypto coin. It's called basically MJF. He tweeted earlier today about it, and I thought it was it's an actual crypto coin, which, I didn't know that can happen, but apparently he does it through a website called Rally. I looked into it, and it comes with perks, so he's able to do like contests and stuff like that for people who has the coin and stuff. And of course, I see people going in and buying it up and everything. So I'm interested to see like what comes from it, if this is going to work into his gimmick, if he's going to mention it on AEW Dynamite, if this is going to be something long term, or are we just doing this for like a storyline or something. It kind of gives me vibes of what's going on with NXT with the $1 Million championship and with LA Knight and Cameron Grimes and everything like that. And now on this side of the other side of the river, we got MJF with his own crypto coin. So interested to see on what happens with that, if he's going to tie it in with his gimmick. Another rumor, this may be an old rumor, but I just read about it, is that there is supposed to be a trios belt that may be coming to AEW, which makes sense because AEW has a lot of factions and trios and duos and this person with this person. And so I don't know. The roster has a lot going on with it. So if they do decide to do this trios belt, power to them. Another thing too, AEW, while we're talking about AEW, came out with some footage of the game that is coming out. We saw what the game looked like before when they were showing Shida in the ring, and of course it gives you like No Mercy vibes. They are working with Yuke Studio, which have done previous WWE games before 2K had taken over. And so recently they put out a video showing Darby Allin. And as far as graphics, it looks good. I'm not expecting, even though they're working with this company, I'm not expecting top of the line type of graphics or something. Just something good. Something playable. I hope that they have some type of GMO, because I really miss that from the old WWE games, having a bit of a GM mode or something. But I didn't really get into the whole video or anything. Only just saw the clip that they showed of Darby Allin. Some of the gameplay was a bit wonky. Of course, it's in development. So they showed a little bit of Darby Allin doing his coffin drop from the top rope, and then he did a coffin drop from the apron. And it's a bit the person who he's going against, of course, it wasn't all green because they're still working on the game. But I appreciate that they're giving updates, but I don't want them to give away too much, because I like being surprised in a good way, I should say. So I rather, they give updates and stuff, but the next time I would like to see, a more finished product. So let's go into some recaps. I'm going to start off with the recap with NXT in Your House. Love the entrance. We had Todd Pettengill coming out, of course. Missed that voice. He is the voice of, my childhood. Besides, as far as, backstage interviewers and things like that. Of course, nothing can replace the duo of Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. I even liked when Vince McMahon was on commentary, especially when he goes the 1, 2, and oh no. So this was I like In Your House. So I was pretty excited for this pay-per-view. It was supposed to be a sold-out crowd. But I have to say, I have to complain, for this to be the first NXT takeover with a quote-unquote full crowd, the crowd was pretty quiet. I mean, they were even trying to get, this was the first time we had Karrion Kross, for example, entrance in front of a full crowd, and they was trying to get an NXT chant going, but it was kind of weak. I mean, it was moments where you really heard them. Of course, they were banging on the plexiglass and stuff like that. But other than that, it was just like they were pretty mute. Like, I was expecting them to be more lively. Like, the front section at WrestleMania 37 was more animated than, the whole arena was at NXT. So, hopefully, once we get to July and we get more of them traveling around and stuff like that, hopefully we get more of a, crowd reaction. Because it definitely really helps out with the events when you have a crowd reaction versus, quiet, or the crowd doing from the PC Performance Center, doing the chants when they're supposed to and stuff like that. So, I was just hoping for a little bit more from the crowd. So starting out, we had MSK and Bronson versus Legado del Fantasma. This match had a lot of offense. There was a spot where there were different, each member of the team was doing different dives and, jumping over the rope and stuff like that with different moves. And then all that was left was Bronson Reed. And I was like, do it, big guy, do it. And he went and he did a suicide dive and knocked out everyone. What's up, Devin? But Bronson Reed, man, he is so awesome. It's just so good to see a big guy being, because we had Keith Lee, we had a lot of the big guys that were able to do a lot of some high flying type moves in the ring. And, now we don't really have that, especially with Keith Lee, disappearing out of nowhere. But now we got Bronson Reed. And then there was a spot where Johnny Gargano, I think he was looking, no, not Johnny Gargano. Escobar he was looking at the title or something like that towards the camera. And then Bronson Reed just comes out of nowhere and just trucks him through the barricade. That was a really good spot. Escobar then did a Moshinosuke driver as well on Bronson Reed. I was shocked that he was able to pick him up. Both teams looked good, but MSK and Bronson walked away with the win, which I kind of figured was going to happen. I would have loved for Legado del Fantasma to win all the gold, but with Bronson Reed just winning the title, I kind of figured that we were going to get a little bit more of a title reign from him. And MSK is awesome. I love the tag team division going on right now in NXT, especially since we're not getting as much tag team. We're getting tag team matches on the main roster, but it's not as much attention being focused on the tag team division like it's going on in NXT. Next up, we had Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez, and Xia Li, goodness gracious, she probably got a whole lot more of fans on Twitter. She looked awesome last night. I loved her gear. I loved her hair. Even her entrance with the sword, looking badass. Okay. This was, so I wasn't as blown away with this match as with a lot of other women's matches on the card. I mean, this was a lot of back and forth. We're seeing as far as with Xia Li, when she first started with this gimmick, she was very tough, very hard to beat. She was able to no-sell a lot of moves. And now as she's getting, into more and more feuds, she's starting to wear down. So I'm going to assume that the power that I forgot the Mortal Kombat character. I think her name was Tyan. I think whatever power she has over Xia Li is starting to disappear, and that's why Xia Li is starting to get weaker and weaker and able to get almost beaten here by Mercedes Martinez. There was a spot where Boa tried to stop Mercedes from attacking Xia Li outside the ring. He really didn't interfere too much until towards the end of the match. There was a lot of nice moves from Mercedes. Tian Shaw. Thanks, Devin. There was a lot of sick moves from Mercedes Martinez. I mean, she's really showing her worth, which I found crazy because she was in the Mae Young Classic, and then she went to AEW, and now she's NXT. It felt like AEW definitely missed the opportunity to use her, her veteran knowledge and everything for the women's division. And now she is here at NXT and is definitely showing off how her veteran skills and how long she's been in the wrestling business, because she's really good. And I'm pretty glad that we're starting to get, more out of her. I mean, the last time, she is a G. The last time we really saw Mercedes, maybe with Raquel Gonzalez, I think. Where it was really a feud that really showed off her skills and everything like that. Because for that, she was with the Robert Stone brand, and she was wrestling, but it was mainly squash matches. It wasn't anything meaningful. So I'm pretty happy that with this, we're both women. They're really getting the type of feud. But towards the end of the match, of course, Xia Li had won the match. Definitely showing off that, she's good. But, however, Mercedes Martinez, there was a chair brought in the ring, and Mercedes Martinez started going to town with the chair on Xia Li. You see Xia Li start to back away. She's pleading for Mercedes to stop, which I was kind of surprised about, because I thought Xia Li who she is now is the type of person that be stand toe to toe with people. So seeing her, begging for help, not really begging for help, but begging for Mercedes to stop with the chair and stuff like that, seeing her to really get worn down, like I said, I think that kind of speaks to the power that is, the type of hold that Tian has is starting to disappear off of her. So towards the end of the match, as Xia Li was begging for Mercedes to stop, the lights went down, and then, for all those people who thought it was a dummy, or maybe it was a wax figure or something like that was sitting in the chair, she finally stood up, and that got a pop out of the crowd. Of all the moments of NXT Takeover, that was the moment that really got the crowd. I was shocked too, because I was like, oh, she moves. Because normally we just see the hand, whatever. But I didn't know the legs work as well. So she stood up and she started walking towards Mercedes, and Mercedes was like, I'm not scared of you, which I'm completely fine with. The type of person that Mercedes is, she shouldn't be someone that will sit there and start getting scared or something like that. But she was like, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you at all. And she walked up to Tian, and Tian grabbed her. I mean, she did some type of choke move or something like that on her, because she really didn't have her hand all the way across her neck. It was like she grabbed on to something. Devin said almost fell out when Tian moved. I was shocked. Mouth on the floor, because I didn't think we would see her ever move. I thought this was, I mean, she sat in that chair for a very long time, so kudos to whoever it really is, that is playing her, to sit there and stay in one spot during a whole match. And it's not like Xia Li be, having these 2-3 minute matches where you can sit still. I mean, you have to pretty much do the mannequin challenge for a whole 10 minutes. That's pretty hard. Cause you sit in a chair, something itching you, something like that. When you try to sit still, your mind starts playing tricks on you. You feel an itch, you got to scratch, you got to cough, sneeze, or something like that. Like, wow, kudos to whoever it is. Like, we'll be talking about this maybe 3-4 years down the line, when whoever this is will eventually transition to another gimmick, and then we find out that she actually played Tion. We're going to be like, wow, you're really good at sitting still for a very long time. Tion, choked Mercedes, and she put her through. Well, she didn't put her through, but she tossed her over to the plexiglass. The cameraman, has the camera on Mercedes, and then the camera turns and you see Tion standing there with Xia Li and Boa. So it looks like we're continuing this feud with Xia Li and Mercedes, and maybe we'll get Tion and Mercedes in a match maybe later on down the line. Probably they could draw this out to maybe SummerSlam Takeover if they want to move fast enough. But if they really want to draw it out, which I don't know how they could do it, they could try to aim for Mania Takeover, but that's going to take a lot of twists and turns with this. And the way that NXT kind of moves with their storylines, a lot of times, things kind of happen a little sooner than later. Next up, we had Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight. This was for the $1 Million Championship. This was a ladder match. Ted DiBiase music is just classic. You have to sit there and dance and think about all the money you can throw in the air while laughing at life real quick. This was a very interesting turn, because the fans are now 100% behind Cameron Grimes, which the crowd was chanting for Cameron Grimes. They booed LA Knight, if I remember correctly, but they then kind of cheered for LA Knight for a little bit as well. But the fans were definitely behind Cameron Grimes. This was a bit of a slow pacing starting out, which of course was supposed to happen because it is a ladder match. Normally with ladder matches, the pacing is very slow, and then once you get towards the end of the match, that's when you start seeing a lot of the big spots. First of all, talking about spots, there was the spot where LA Knight went to do a neck breaker and the ladder was sitting up sideways. But unfortunately, when LA Knight went to do the neck breaker, when his foot came up to do the neck breaker, his foot hit the ladder and it kind of moved, and both men landed on the ladder pretty weirdly. So you saw LA Knight definitely went, I think it was his arm or his shoulder that he was going for, but yeah, both men should more likely was definitely sore for the next few days, but God bless him for showing up at NXT Live on Tuesday after all this. Cameron Grimes did a spot. He jumped on to one of the pillars, and then he did I think it was a dive off of it as well. It was a lot of back and forth with the men as well, especially trying to climb up the ladder to get the briefcase. Towards the end of the match, we had Cameron Grimes. He went for the gold ladder, of course, because that's what is needed in order to finish the match, is the gold ladder. So he grabbed the gold ladder. He started to go up the gold ladder. It looked like he was going to win, but then LA Knight comes in last minute. He lifts up the ladder, and Cameron Grimes fell from the gold ladder onto a ladder bridge outside the ring. And then LA Knight climbed up the ladder. He had a little bit of difficulty getting the briefcase out, but I love the way that the briefcase looked with the title, because it was see-through, so you can see the $1 Million title. He was able to retrieve the briefcase, and now we have the $1 Million champion, LA Knight, which I felt as though was the more of a right call, especially from what we saw on Tuesday. with the $1 Million Championship, it normally works with a heel, but I think in this instance, it can definitely work as a face as well. I'm very happy that LA Knight won, first of all. He definitely needed this win, because I don't think he had a major win since he came to NXT. Because unfortunately, because he got added on to the North American Championship, which of course was about Bronson Reed winning the title. And then he was involved in something else as well. And I think he lost that match as well, but he was a bit on a losing streak since he came to NXT. And now, with him winning this title, and now he has actual feuds, bit of a storyline to work out. I think we're definitely going to see him shine. After that, we had Raquel versus Ember Moon. We had Dakota coming out. I thought that Shotzi Blackheart was going to come out with Ember Moon, but I guess not. She came out a little bit later. But we had Dakota Kai, ringside for most of the match. She was definitely trying to help out Raquel, retain her title. There was a spot where Raquel was getting pinned and Dakota moved the rope so that Raquel can grab the rope. Then a little bit later on, Raquel definitely, she got the, I think it was the Eclipse that she got, and Dakota ran over and threw Raquel's foot on the rope to save the match. Then that's when Shotzi Blackheart comes out. I'm not quite sure. I didn't really read up if there was something going on with Shotzi. That's why she wasn't out for the whole match. But she comes out, her and Dakota, start fighting and everything like that. Shotzi throws Dakota into the In Your House stage, and then they go off into the back. There was a spot where there was a DDT onto the entrance ramp. Then Raquel, she did, there was a lot of back and forth with the women. But with the ending, Raquel did Snake Eyes into like her finishing powerbomb, and then that was it. And I felt as though the finish was a bit weak. It wasn't this match wasn't as exciting as a lot of women's championship matches are. I felt as though both women could have added more to it. I didn't really get to see how long the match was. Let's see. So the match with the women was only for 12 minutes. But I don't know. It just felt like there was something missing from the match. It wasn't exciting or anything like that. And I felt like, it could have been more. Because with a lot of the other women's championship matches we had, that involved, especially with Io Shirai and everything like that, maybe that's why, because we've been spoiled with Io Shirai as champion. Now that we have Raquel as champion, a lot of her matches are more power based than it is with the high flying and things like that, and us going ooh and ah. So maybe that's what it is, that we're getting more of, more power than high flying, and maybe that's why the matches aren't as exciting as a lot of other matches are. Who knows? Lastly, we have the Fatal 5-Way match. Pete Dunne versus Adam Cole versus Karrion Kross versus Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly. First of all, this was the point I was trying to make earlier with the crowd. Karrion Kross comes out. I love his entrance, first off. I was shocked that the crowd wasn't singing along with the entrance. But then, like I said earlier, they was trying to do the NXT chant, but it really didn't get going. Johnny Gargano with the Heartbreak Kid gear. He tweeted out he's been trying to get the Heartbreak Kid entrance from In Your House. This is about the second year now, which of course he wasn't going to get because Shawn Michaels swung in on a rope without any harness or anything, and then jumps down after swinging off the rope. So I highly doubt Johnny's going to get his wish. But I don't know if anyone saw this on Twitter, but Johnny Gargano and the other members of The Way did a photo shoot, and they were all dressed up Johnny Gargano was dressed up as Shawn Michaels. Austin Theory was dressed up as Diesel. Indy Hartwell was dressed up as Razor Ramon. And Candice LeRae was dressed up as the 1-2-3 Kid. And then her dog was dressed as Hunter Helmsley. Not Triple H, but his gimmick before he transferred to Triple H. I thought it was the best thing in the world. I felt bad because I didn't even realize there was a pre-show, first of all. Apparently there was a pre-show with there was a pre-show match with Saray and Zoe Stark versus the Robert Stone brand, which I didn't check out at all. So I don't even have an opinion on it. Zoe Stark is they're definitely pushing her as a star. So I didn't get to check it out. But I felt bad because Candice and Indy and Austin Theory didn't really have a spot on the show. So they really didn't have the chance to really show off the cosplay gear until the only way they were able to show it off was Twitter. And I thought it was the best thing. Of course, Austin Theory was wearing the gear. He was still portraying the character on NXT Live on Tuesday, but I thought it was the best picture. They even had Triple H and Shawn Michaels coming in and also doing some photos with them. There's a photo of Austin Theory with his arm up like Diesel, and you see Shawn Michaels doing his side lunge pose that he loves to do during his entrance. But this match was pretty good, I have to say. There was, of course, Karrion Kross was he was out of the match for a little bit, which is understandable because this match had 5 people in it and you needed every single person to shine. Karrion Kross has been undefeated since he came to NXT, so it makes sense for him to kind of be out of the match for a little bit so you can see the other 4 guys. There was a lot of double teaming on Karrion Kross, of course, because he is so dominant. The spot that took him out, he was launched through the In Your House door by Johnny Gargano and Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne was attacking Karrion Kross' arm. Johnny Gargano went to help out Pete Dunne, and that's when they threw him into the door. Johnny Gargano, of course, doing what he does. He did a suicide dive into a DDT on Pete Dunne, which I thought was crazy. Pete Dunne, I don't know if he was giving me like Shawn Michaels vibes from, I think it was WrestleMania 26. I think it was WrestleMania 26 with the all white. He kind of gave me those vibes. He probably wasn't trying to give Shawn Michaels vibes, but that's what I got from him. And then Adam Cole, of course, doing a bunch of super kicks on everyone. There was the spots with Johnny Gargano. He did a bunch of super kicks on Johnny Gargano as well. It was a lot of great sequences in this match, and all 5 men have shined, especially Dunne, Cole, Gargano, O'Reilly without Karrion Kross in the match. A lot of back and forth and everything like that. But of course, we all know who was going to win. Like I had said, if Karrion Kross was going to lose, he would have lost by not being pinned. However, what happened was O'Reilly had a leg lock on Adam Cole. Adam Cole looked like he was about to tap, and then Karrion Kross just kind of comes out of nowhere. So he chokes out Kyle O'Reilly until he passes out, and that was the end of the match. A lot of people isn't too happy with Karrion Kross. Especially, there is, of course, a bit of a change with his character. Before, he didn't really talk too much. He was very mysterious and things like that. But you can only do that for so long, especially with today in NXT. And now he cuts promos, stuff like that. Would it make sense for Scarlett to do more promos, stuff like that, kind of like a Paul Heyman type of manager? Maybe, but maybe I didn't see a lot of Scarlett when she was in the indies, so I don't know how her promo skills are, but maybe NXT feels as though that she isn't strong enough on the mic to kind of carry Karrion Kross. But she is good. I mean, with the vignettes and stuff like that, not trying to, you know, big shots at her. She is good, but maybe, you know, NXT felt as though that Karrion Kross should cut his own promos. Who knows? So going into NXT Live, first of all, NXT Takeover, of course, was good. It's very rare that NXT Takeover doesn't have a really bad pay-per-view. Was this as exciting as a lot of other takeovers? No. I felt as though, you know, there were some matches that weren't very strong, but I felt as though the only thing was missing was the crowd. If we had the crowd a little more animated, this would probably have been a lot better to enjoy. But the fact that the crowd was kind of like mellow and stuff like that. I mean, I was watching the crowd. Some people was just sitting there like it was golf or something like that. You know, little claps here and there, but you know, it is what it is. You know, we have next month, I think Money in the Bank is going to be in front of a crowd. Then we got SummerSlam, which is going to be in Vegas, which is going to be absolutely crazy. They already announced the tour, the 25 cities that they're going to go around. They'll more, of course, going to come to Philly. I'm hoping it's a pay-per-view when they come to Philly. And if it is going to be a show, I'm hoping it's SmackDown, because Raw, wow, okay, not feeling it. If I'm hoping it's a pay-per-view or at least SmackDown, or at least SmackDown that will come to Philly, and I'll probably go. I know AEW Dynamite is coming in October to Philly. I was supposed to go to AEW Dynamite in April, but the pandemic has struck. So I'm hoping to try to go this year in October. Fingers crossed for that one. But going into NXT Live, first of all, big shocker. Yeah, the takeover crowd was the main roster crowd, definitely. Because it was just like, I was shocked as all heck, because I'm like, first of all, this is the first NXT Takeover Live in over a year, and I'm going to sit here and do golf claps and act like, no, if I was there, I would be screaming at the top of my lungs, singing Karrion Kross theme, and I don't even know the words. I would just, you know, yell to the music or something like that. They did the boom with Adam Cole, which, you know, of course, when he did the Adam Cole baby, you know, it wasn't as loud, but come on. I mean, the Full Sail crowd would blow them away. And I mean, it's less people in this crowd than it was at Full Sail, but if you had put 30 people from Full Sail in that arena, we would all been sitting here like, oh man, NXT Takeover was so great. And even though they could sit there and have, you know, Raquel Gonzalez can sit in a chair in the middle of the ring with that crowd, and the crowd was that crazy, we were all sitting here like, man, Raquel Gonzalez, that segment because Raquel singing in the ring was awesome, man. You heard that crowd? They were crazy. But you know, it is what it is. I'm just waiting for, you know, the crowds to come back so that we can finally hear a crowd, you know, some cheering, some booing, some singing, you know. I'll even take the Mexican wave right now. That's how I'm feeling right now. I just want people, you know, I want people ringside. But getting into NXT Live, first of all, the end of NXT Takeover, we did see William Regal. Poor guy. He has done nothing but played the school principal, basically. The high school principal backstage. Just trying to get people separated. It's just like, you know, it's almost like the security guard, as if he was in a high school, like, Lean On Me or something. Like, he is trying to separate fights. You could see it on his face that he is tired. He got interviewed as he was leaving, and he sat there and said, it's time for a change. And everybody was like, Is he quitting? Where is he going? And then, of course, we had all the names being thrown out. Daniel Bryan, this person, that person. Someone said Teddy Long. And I'm like, everyone, calm down. This is NXT, okay? All questions will be answered, and it will be answered properly. What grade would I give TakeOver? I would give TakeOver, I would say a B-. The women's championship match wasn't as exciting. I loved the beginning matches with I loved the 6-man tag. The Xia Li match was pretty good, especially the ending where we saw the surprise with Tion getting up from the ring. The ladder match was awesome, of course, which I kind of felt was going to happen. Anytime there's a ladder match, especially for a title, it'll be awesome. Raquel and Ember wasn't that exciting. That's why I said a B-. And the Fatal 5-Way was good. The only surprising thing, and I did it with my predictions, is that there were really no surprise wins. Like, everyone you expected to win actually won. So it kind of took a bit of surprise from it. Like, had they gave a switch up and had Karrion lose the match, I probably would have bumped up the score. It's good matches, but the people who won. And like I said, the ending of the Raquel and Amber Moon match was a bit weak. That, it wasn't like the lead up to the finish. It kind of like came up out of nowhere, as if they got cut for time. But had we got like some type of surprise, some type of switch up or something, definitely would have bumped it up, because that was always a good thing, with a lot of pay-per-views where you get that surprise win. But I was 5 for 5. So, when you kind of figured, okay, this person's gonna win, this person's gonna win, this person's gonna win, and you kind of like get all the way straight through, like, it's that's why I gave it a B-. It was predictable winners, good matches, but predictable winners. And then the finishes as well. But yeah, with the beginning of NXT Live, we had, of course, Karrion Kross comes out. He wanted William Regal to admit that he can't handle NXT and to basically give the reins over to Karrion Kross. Of course, William Regal was like, he has an announcement to make, stuff like that. And then, next thing you know, here comes Samoa Joe. So, I'm sure a lot of people lost money, because there were a lot of people. I've seen all the little memes and the graphics of Samoa Joe going all elite. And joke's on us. Now, I'm just shocked because we done went through this whole emotional ride of Samoa Joe getting released just for you to rehire him. I'd rather for Samoa Joe just be off TV and then shows up at NXT, but I don't know. WWE is a bit weird. I don't understand why we had him publicly fired and then they rehired him at NXT. It's the same company, so if you had the thoughts of him going to NXT, But, I kind of figured this is, like they said, this is all about budget cuts. So you got to fire the person to get rid of the contract and then re-sign them at a lower price, especially since they put them in NXT. From what I read, and I don't know if it's still the same, when you work at NXT, you get paid a lot less than you would on the main roster. So that's probably why they let him go and then re-signed him, because they wanted to do it for the lower price. And I'm sure me saying that probably fuels all the conspiracy theories that WWE is on sale. No, I don't think WWE is on sale. I think WWE overspent and they got a little too happy with their contracts, especially trying to sign certain people to keep them from walking off to AEW. For example, I know AJ Styles got paid a heck of a lot of money to stay in WWE, and he is signed, I think, for 5 years. So he either is going to pull a Sting and show up in AEW old as all heck, or he's going to retire with WWE. But it's all budget cuts, re-signing. Samoa Joe is the prime example of budget cuts. They fired him because they paid him too much, especially for him to be on commentary, and then signed him NXT so they can pay him a lot less. But, it is what it is. Samoa Joe is there. I'm happy that Samoa Joe is in NXT because we'll definitely get a lot of different feuds than we would with the main roster. Even though he gets injured a lot, yes. But I feel as though there's a lot more opportunity for him in NXT. So Samoa Joe comes out. I pop for it. We finally get Samoa Joe back. And William Regal asked Samoa Joe to become the new GM, which I was like, okay, we're doing the Stone Cold thing, where Stone Cold was the GM. And we had a lot of hilarious segments from that. I was game for it. Of course, Samoa Joe turned it down because Samoa Joe wants to, he wants to get into the middle of things. And so Samoa Joe is now the new enforcer for William Regal under 2 conditions. He's not allowed to compete, which I was like, that sucks. But he's not allowed to put his hands on the talent. And I was like, well, that sucks too. And then comes the little clause that says, unless he's provoked. And I said, this is Stone Cold 2.0. Somebody push him, like we had saw later on in the show, say, get off me, don't touch me. Next thing you know, Samoa Joe's just going to put you to sleep. Samoa Joe is now the lullaby enforcer, okay? He's going to be going around singing lullabies and just putting people to sleep. That's what's going to happen now in NXT. This is awesome. There was a stare down between Kross and Samoa Joe, so we see that coming. Maybe later on down the line, maybe it will be Samoa Joe who will take the title off of Karrion Kross. Maybe that's the long-term play. Because I don't know who's going to take this belt off of Karrion Kross. We're running out of fingers and toes of the number of people who we had lined up for Karrion Kross. And he's taking them all down. We also had, kind of skipping through a lot of the things that happened. The NXT Cruiserweight Championship, Kushida versus Trey Baxter. I don't know who Trey Baxter is, but Trey Baxter was, he was pretty good. Normally with people, the people who you don't really hear about, normally it's squash matches. But we see they're making something of Trey Baxter. And this was a really good match. We had Kyle O'Reilly, who came out and he was sitting there watching the match, kind of giving his props to Trey Baxter because he was pretty good. A lot of high flying moves and stuff like that. He was pretty speedy and everything like that. So it was kind of like it was a bit even, I would say, between him and Kushida. So this kind of gives us that little bit of a notice that, hey, NXT is turning more people in. We're slowly getting in the next wave of wrestlers who, once the next wave of NXT, once the top tier of NXT wrestlers go off to the main roster to die, we'll have the next wave of NXT newcomers coming in. But this was a good match. It was a good debut for Trey Baxter. I don't know where he's from, if from the indies or if, he's someone who's really homegrown from NXT, but definitely, I like him. I want to see more of him. Of course, eventually we'll get into what his gimmick will be or whatever, but I'm excited for what I've seen from him. And then we get to the ceremony for the $1 Million Championship. We had LA Knight come out, and first of all, Ted DiBiase came out again. LA Knight comes out and he cuts his promo about how much he admired the $1 Million Man and stuff like that. Let me tell you, LA Knight is really good at what he does, okay? He's really good as a promo. He gives me the charisma of The Rock. Sometimes he talks like him too. If you close your eyes and really listen to him, he sounds like The Rock sometimes. But he cut a promo about, how he's so excited to meet his hero. And he, had the $1 Million Championship belt as a kid. And he looked up to him, stuff like that. And he says, and now that I got the belt, he said he's going to get rid of something. He's going to get rid of what he doesn't need. And he turns around and clocks Ted DiBiase. I was shocked that Ted DiBiase took a nice bump for this. He started beating up Ted DiBiase, and then out comes Cameron Grimes. And Cameron Grimes came out and saved the day. He got a bit of a cheer, bit of a chant and everything like that. And I'm like, Cameron Grimes is taking us to the moon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I was not a fan of Cameron Grimes starting out. I felt as though before this whole, money making gimmick, I was like, I don't know who he is, if he's like a wild cowboy or something like that. I wasn't getting the character. And then he made money and he started being the newly rich country boy. And I was like, this is perfect. I love it when there's a slight change to a gimmick and it just clicks for someone. And I'm very happy that we're getting this with Cameron Grimes. It makes so much sense with him. He really connects to this gimmick as far as the money-making gimmick. Because he does the, obnoxious jokes and stuff like that. Then he does the laugh and stuff. And now he has the theme music, of course. So he is definitely taking us for a ride. He comes out, so now he's a face. And now, he's going to have his t-shirts and stuff like that. He's going to have the money with his face on it. I know that's going to come sooner or later. But he came and saved the day for the $1 Million Man. And so now, we're getting something. We're getting something out of this title. They beforehand with the $1 million championship, they did a lot more, but it was mainly with Ted DiBiase when he was wrestling, and then he gave it off to Stone Cold. But if I remember correctly, with Stone Cold, they really didn't do too much with the title. This was when Kiss My Grits. I know I'm waiting for that shirt. Take my money. That's the new saying, because he definitely sat there and said it. He said it on NXT and people went crazy. Definitely when that shirt comes out, I know a lot of people are going to sit there and buy it up. I'll buy it up. I stop buying t-shirts of current wrestlers because they change gimmicks, people leave and stuff like that. I have a Rusev shirt. I have a Zack Ryder shirt. I had a Perfect 10 shirt as well. So, I normally don't buy current t-shirts, but I might buy that Kiss My Grits shirt. And I did buy the Jimmy Uso shirt, Nobody's Bitch. I had to get that because I was like, yo, that's a rare type of t-shirt that you'll see on WWE Shop. So I went and grabbed that one. But yeah, this Cameron Grimes with this gimmick, and with LA Knight and with Ted DiBiase mixed in, this is going to be like a very fun feud to watch. With the vignettes, we know the vignettes are going to come with him and Ted DiBiase. And, Ted DiBiase is fun as a heel, especially with the basketball, segment that he did so long ago. And then Cameron Grimes trying to do the same thing. But you can still be a face and be obnoxious at the same time. So I'm hoping they would kind of go with that. With Cameron Grimes trying, going to tip people and then sitting there saying, you ain't got no family, and starts laughing and stuff like that. I hope they go along those routes. Like, don't turn the person completely face. They don't have to be a saint, They don't have to be a complete saint. Like, be a bit obnoxious because you got money, all right? But I expect this segment to be, like, hella fun. We had let me see. We had that crazy tornado tag. Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. I want the Grizzled Young Veterans to get a win, yo. Because they can't sit here and keep saying soon to be the champions if they can't get a win. But I understand it's, Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. So it's like, of course they're going to win, It's it's so weird to see Tommaso Ciampa teamed up with anyone except Johnny Gargano. It's like the perfect couple that you saw, in high school and stuff like that, and then they broke up and they're with different people, and it's kind of like weird to see now. It's just like that with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, because they work so well together with DIY. And it's like now we got Johnny Gargano, Austin Theory, and we got Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. It's like, it's weird to see, but it works, But yeah, this match was absolutely crazy. Both teams showing off their chemistry, and a tornado tag team match. I love it. Especially, because it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense to do a regular tag team match. Just let all hell break loose, okay? I'm hoping we keep this going. Honestly, I hope we keep this going. Maybe throw a tag team championship in there that the Grizzled Young Veterans will finally win. I'm really hoping for that. But yeah, this episode of NXT Live was really good. And then we saw, saw Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly going at it backstage. And here comes the Enforcer trying to, separate the two. And Adam Cole sat there. I think it was Adam Cole. Adam Cole pushed Samoa Joe away to try to get to, Kyle O'Reilly. And then you see Samoa Joe looks and he goes, "Oh, you touched me. You provoked me. And when you provoked Samoa Joe, you get put to sleep." And that's what Samoa Joe did. He enforced the bedtime rule, okay? He enforced the bedtime rule. It is past your bedtime. Go to sleep, okay? So that's what Samoa Joe did. And I love it. And we can keep this going. I say every week, let people sit there and fight each other. Hell, put Io Shirai to sleep. Raquel, Gonzalez, put them all to sleep, okay? Put them all to sleep. But, it is what it is. He probably won't put any women to sleep, but if they do, hey, I'll pop for it too, because that would be a big shocker, but I will pop for that as well. So going into this week, I didn't check out any of AEW last Friday. I keep looking for it on Wednesday, and I'm forgetting. Yes, everybody go night night. Everybody go night night. It's past the bedtime. Okay, you don't get any dessert. You go to sleep. It is school night. You have to go to school tomorrow. Night, go to sleep. Put that on a t-shirt. Enforcing the bedtime rule. That's what we need. But I didn't check out any of AEW Dynamite. I keep looking for it on Wednesday, and I'm forgetting that we're in the middle of the playoffs for the NBA, and so it gets pushed to Friday. And then once Friday comes, I'll watch SmackDown, and then I just turn off the TV. So I keep forgetting about AEW. So I didn't get a chance to check out anything that's going on last week. I will definitely try to remember to catch it this week, because I was looking for it last night, forgetting that there was NBA playoffs. Sorry for my Sixers. I'm going to admit, I did not watch the NBA season all year. So yes, I jumped on the bandwagon because the Sixers were in the playoffs. And now they are doing horribly, so I'm going to hop off the bandwagon until next season. This isn't the year to trust the process. The process is still in process, so maybe next year. But yeah, a lot of sad people over in this neck of the woods with the playoffs. I haven't really gotten into basketball like that since Allen Iverson, so that goes to show how long it's been. But I at least know a few people on the Sixers. I know to trust the process and all that other stuff. But yeah, I'm off the bandwagon. I'm not mad about it. That's kind of what happens in Philly. We get somewhere and then we don't. I know the Eagles won a couple of years ago. Okay, whatever. The Phillies won a while ago as well. But with the Sixers, I don't know. I don't know about the Sixers, so it is what it is. So going into this week with the main roster, we got Hell in a Cell coming this Sunday. As of right now, we only have 5 matches announced, and 4 of them are the main women's and men's titles. So obviously, we're going to get matches popping up on SmackDown, probably with Apollo Crews versus Big E, probably again, or Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn maybe. But yeah, once again, we are getting close to the deadline and the assignment is not done. We only have 5 matches, and we're obviously going to get more matches on top of that. Let's talk about SmackDown, okay? Let's start on a high with SmackDown, dip down on a low with Raw, and then come back up with predictions for Hell in a Cell. Chef's kiss to whoever is the writer for this storyline with Roman Reigns. It is the perfect tempo because we're not getting things too quickly, because I selfishly want the Uso versus Uso going on, and I know we're going to have Jimmy versus Roman Reigns at some point, but the crafting of this storyline is just like, it's giving us little bits, and it's not giving us what we expected, because, the way that things were going on Friday with the family drama, first of all, Jimmy coming out, he cut the ring and said that Roman Reigns is jealous of the Usos. Oh, I knew you was going to go there, Devin. I was waiting for you to come up with the hail to the tribal chief. I knew you was going there, because I know you're a faithful member of the tribal clan. But Jimmy sitting there saying that Roman Reigns is jealous of the Usos and they had the gold and stuff like that, and he's like, Roman Reigns is not my brother. But that is not the moment. The moment is Roman Reigns looking over at Jey Uso, and then you see Paul Heyman creeping his head around to look, and the photo of Jey looking down, and you see Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman looking over at him. I was like, yo, this is a shot. This is the kid, this is the parent-teacher conference. The parents being told that the kid is acting up in class, and the kid can't do anything but just sit there and listen, and you just put your head down, and you sitting here like trying to think of all the excuses and ways to try to get out of the punishment that is coming. And Roman Reigns is the mom that's sitting there like, soon as we get home, the belt to the butt, okay? And Paul Heyman is just sitting there as the dad, like, wow, son, I don't know what to tell you. Son. But yeah, that shot, I was laughing my head off, because poor Jey was sitting there like, like the child that is in trouble and just doesn't know what to do. Well, of course, it looks like we're seeing, Jimmy trying to, we thought we was getting Jimmy and Roman Reigns, because Jimmy's sitting here saying, he's jealous of us and this, that, and the third. And, we're twins. We've been there since day one. And you sitting here running behind him and stuff like that. And, I thought we was going to get a turn of, Roman, snapping on Jimmy or something like that, or Jey having to make the decision of, between his brother and his cousin. And, I thought from there we would get Uso versus Uso or something like that. But no, that's not the way the tribal chief thinks. This is not a normal person, ladies and gentlemen. This is the tribal chief. He's smart. He turned to Jimmy and says, look, this is your brother. He's been gone for a year, and look what you're doing to him. You're stressing him out. You sitting here, having him choose between me and you. It's like, no, like, look what you're doing to him. You're stressing him out. You need to talk to him. This is you guys. And I'm sitting here like, yo, Paul Heyman done taught the tribal chief a lot. This kind of circles all the way back to when Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman first got together, and you see Paul Heyman sitting there giving little tips and stuff like that to Roman Reigns. Now, if this was Brock Lesnar, it would go through one ear and out the other. Brock Lesnar would be like, look, just put the body in front of me and I'll kill it, okay? Put the body in front of me and I'm going to suplex him until I'm tired and sweating and red. And then I'll F5 him 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go home back to my hot wife. Roman Reigns actually listened, and I think that's what's scaring Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman's like, whoa, whenever I talk, people don't listen, I talk, people get hype, and, goes in one ear and out the other. And now we're seeing, Roman Reigns is listening, he's paying attention, he's taking notes, and he's taking, Paul Heyman, philosophy and how to, like, twist and turn things, and makes you sit there and think, like, is Roman Reigns, like, manipulating the situation, or he's genuinely caring? Breaking news for the first time ever on Fox, Hell in a Cell match on Friday Night SmackDown. Tribal Chief versus Rey Mysterio. Wait, so there's a Hell in a Cell match on SmackDown? And not at the Hell in a Cell? Is that what's happening? Are they putting a Hell in a Cell match on SmackDown? Is that what's happening, Devin? Because that will be crazy. I thought it was... Oh, so it's at SmackDown. I thought it was at the pay-per-view. So what are we doing at the pay-per-view then? I thought it was at the pay-per-view. But we're getting the match on SmackDown. Which makes no sense. So I guess something's going to happen. I don't know. I had this written down to predict for Sunday, but it seems like we're getting this match on SmackDown, which is very weird. Very weird that they made this change. Breaking news. Thank you, Devin, for the breaking news. But yeah, that's very weird to put the Hell in a Cell match 2 days before the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. That's why we have to stop with these gimmick pay-per-views, because it's forcing people to make these matches, and it makes no sense. So now we are doing a Hell in a Cell match 2 days before the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So it's like, now what are you doing on Sunday? You have your champion in a Hell in a Cell match against Rey Mysterio. So we know this isn't going to be like, unless we don't get the match, because for some reason, 1 + 1 = 2. Maybe the Dirty Dogs attack Rey Mysterio or something like that, and this gets forfeited, and then we have it again on Sunday, which, this WWE will do something like that. They will say it's a match and then not say it's happening and then do it on Sunday, instead of just saying from the beginning, well, we're going to do it on Sunday. That will make a lot more sense. But wow, that's very weird. That's very weird, but it's just like very WWE for them to do that. But yeah, I felt as though this match, Hell in a Cell match between Roman Reigns and Rey Mysterio, kind of came last minute. Which makes sense of why Roman Reigns attacked them at the end of the match, because we had to get this match we had to get a Hell in a Cell match out of Roman Reigns, and it had to be in a Hell in a Cell. But things didn't progress that quickly that we needed it to be a Hell in a Cell match. Rey Mysterio just suddenly saying, oh, you beat up my kid, I want you at Hell in a Cell. And I'm like, well, where's this energy with the Dirty Dogs when they took out your kid? And he was like really hurt that he couldn't do the tag team match with you. But, it is what it is, WWE wants us to only concentrate on 1 week at a time. That's why when they sat there and had Dominic Mysterio being taken out and come into the match midway through, and then the following week they had Rey Mysterio get injured and then having to come through the match midway through. I guess we're supposed to forget about it. But, it's very weird that we're getting a Hell in a Cell match beforehand. Yeah, whatever. We had Liv Morgan versus Carmella at SmackDown. Liv Morgan finally getting a win. But then Carmella went and got an announcement that she is still the most beautiful person, most beautiful woman in WWE after she lost. So, I've really, Liv Morgan is just dodging and trying to survive out here. Both her girls are gone, and she is trying to survive the next round of budget cuts, whenever that comes. The Ding Dong Hallel show with special guest Seth the Drip Rollins, Drip Daddy, the King of Drip, I'm sorry, with his suits reminding me straight off of Far Cry. Every time I see him, I'm like, I have to play Far Cry. Can't wait for Far Cry 6 to come out, first off. But that was a pretty good segment. The laugh of Bayley and the laugh of Seth Rollins, didn't know it was something that we needed, but it's something that we got. Cesaro coming out. I hope people are very excited for what is happening right now with Cesaro. Cesaro is getting his time to shine. Let's appreciate it. Because we've been wanting him to grab the Sonic Brass ring for the longest of time. And now he is getting a segment. He got a singles match on the main card at WrestleMania. He's getting a really good feud to show himself off. Let's just ride this wave. Maybe he'll get a title shot. Maybe he won't. But let's just, accept this for where it is right now. We're getting Otis. Otis in a very different way. He's not doing the oh yeah and all that other stuff. Because we have Chad Gable with the Alpha Academy trying to teach the Street Profits what is wrong with their wrestling ability, why they lost the title and things like that. And don't talk about the coach is what Otis is all about. Because the Street Profits was talking about Chad Gable, and Otis sat there and defended his guy. The Shinsuke Nakamura and King Corbin, I don't know where we started with this feud. And then the Rick Boogs guy coming in, I don't know where that came from. I'm sitting here like, I know I missed the episode or two of SmackDown, so I missed the cliff notes as to how these three people came together, and now all of a sudden, Shinsuke Nakamura is interested in a plastic crown. Like, where are we getting this from? Why do we have Shinsuke Nakamura chasing this crown like it's the 24/7 title? Why are we doing this? Then we get Rick Boogs, who, distracting Baron Corbin with the guitar, and then they're grabbing the crown and stuff like that. And now we're getting the Battle of the Crown this week, because it's now 50-50 booking. And so now we're getting the Battle of the Crown, which is, okay, whatever. Let's just bring out the next King of the Ring. Okay, instead of us fighting for this Battle of the Crown with this crown, why can't we get the King of the Ring back? Just give us the King of the Ring. Get rid of the Hell in a Cell. You can have a Hell in a Cell at the King of the Ring, first of all. You can do that. But give us back the King of the Ring. I don't know what is so difficult about that. Overall, SmackDown was overall pretty good. The Tribal Chief, once again, showing us why we should have believed in him back when he used to say, believe that. I give all respect to the Tribal Chief, because I was one of the haters of Roman Reigns back when he was trying to be the ultimate underdog. And now, he has turned heel. He is the Tribal Chief. All he's trying to do is make sure no one disrespects his family. How simple is that? Normally, when someone turns heel and they're a villain, it's like, I hate Americans. I hate this and that. I hate your mama. I hate this person. I'm the best person in the world. I'm beautiful. I'm pretty. I want to be a friend of me. No. All the Tribal Chief cares about is don't disrespect his family. And that's so relatable. Because somebody, don't disrespect my family. You disrespect my family, we have a problem. And that's all his motivation. Don't disrespect the family. You got to respect that. And that's all he wants. He wants his respect. You respect him. You disrespect him. You disrespect his family. You disrespect his family. Then there's a problem. But my goodness, if you had told me 5 or so years ago that I would be a big fan of Roman Reigns, I wouldn't believe you. And you could probably say the same thing for a lot of other people, that they wouldn't believe you, that they would sit there and call him the tribal chief, and that he will be the best thing going in WWE. Like, WWE is hanging, WWE storylines, the creativity of WWE is hanging by a thread, and that thread is called the tribal chief. I'm loving where this is going, because they put so many twists and turns with this, because I thought that Roman Reigns, backhand Jimmy Uso into next week, but no, he sat there and made Jimmy Uso feel bad for what he said, and now it seems like we're getting Roman Reigns trying to rope Jimmy Uso into the tribal clan, without forcing him into the tribal clan. And it's like, I want the Uso versus Uso, but I know we're going to get the tribal clan, and I'm kind of okay with that as well. It's just like so many ways this thing can go. And I'm kind of fine with either one, because this is very entertaining. It's something very different than what we have seen for a very long time. WWE is very famous for recycling storylines. And that's why this storyline with the tribal chief and the family and the tribal clan is so captivating, because it's so different. And it's not wildly different to the point that it's ridiculous, because we got different before, okay? We got plenty of different before. But it wasn't ridiculous. It wasn't like putting down anyone. The Usos look good in this feud. Roman Reigns look good in this feud. Paul Heyman with the facial expressions looks good in this feud. So I am excited to see what we get this week. Apparently, which is a Hell in a Cell match, but all right. So now going into Raw, we have Nikki Cross versus Charlotte. I still don't understand the theme music choice of Nikki Cross, because her look and her gimmick and everything, and she's like still, the crazy psychotic gimmick, but then she comes out to like this happy-go-lucky music, which I really don't understand. Charlotte, I'm liking Charlotte right now. She got interviewed from, there was an interview from Bleacher Report that she did very recently, and she mentioned how Andrade is helping her in the ring. And, if you notice, you see a few more different moves from her and stuff like that, and that is because of Andrade. And if you notice, Andrade is a little bit better as far as promo and the way he presents himself, and that's because Charlotte is helping him with his presentation, and he is helping her with the wrestling moves. So definitely a change that I appreciate. She even changed her look with the robes. She had the Cruella look going on for a little bit there, and I'm fine with that. I know she said before that she wanted to step out of the shadow of her dad, which I was like, okay, but you tend to woo every single week. You use the robes. You got you use your dad's last name and stuff. But now, I'm seeing okay, we're starting to get Charlotte, not Charlotte Flair. So yeah, I am appreciative of it. It seems like we're going with the storyline of her being, wanting to have so much, wanting to be, get a one-up on Rhea Ripley and, want to be better than Rhea Ripley. With this week, she got defeated by Nikki Cross. And my only issue with this is that Nikki Cross is not being used. Now she's just there, because she was in the Lumberjack match a while ago. Not the Lumberjack match, but she was one of the Lumberjacks in the Lumberjack match. And now she's just there. It don't make sense to me at all. So I know a lot of people is like, I don't watch Raw. I don't watch Raw live anymore. I use that time to do other things, whether it's play video games, watch something on Twitch, or, spend time with my family or something. So I don't watch Raw live anymore. I now check out Raw on Hulu, and I just kind of skip through. Now, the small segment I saw live because I saw on Twitter that people were talking about a certain, new, somebody was talking about the segment with Eva Marie, and Naomi comes out, and Naomi's now just there, of course, because she lost Lana, and so she lost Lana, and it seems like they have nothing for her to do, which all you gotta do is just put her on SmackDown, put her on SmackDown, make her the first female member of the tribal clan, and let the tribal chief take care of things. That's all we need. That's all we need. That is all we need. However, this was the long-awaited reveal of Eva Marie. I was interested to see like what will change from who she is now to before. If we're going to, if her wrestling skills have increased, because since she left WWE, she definitely has done a lot of fitness and she's done movies and stuff like that. But I highly doubt she was like still training or anything like that. So I kind of figured that her wrestling ability would probably pretty much be the same. It's just that we may get something different from her as far as like gimmick or something. But no, we were supposed to get Eva Marie versus Naomi. And it's supposed to be the debut of Eva, Lucian, and all this other stuff. And she comes out with Piper from NXT UK. The thing that drove me crazy was the commentators like, who's this? Who's this person? Who's this woman? I don't know who this is. And I'm like, dude, same company. I could see if Piper came from an Indies, because they even had me confused. And I was like, is she from Impact or is she from Ring of Honor? Like, they had me confused for a moment until I was like, wait a minute. She's from NXT UK. Like, y'all promote NXT on TV. Y'all promote NXT UK. Like, come on, yo. Simple Google search. You talk about the people in the truck. They could have easily corrected this by saying, oh, we just got news from someone in the production truck that this is Piper from NXT UK. That's all you could have done. But now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to make this prediction now. Piper's going to be dead in the water because of this. Because of them sitting there saying, who is this? Who is she? What? I don't know who she is. Instead of just telling us, this is from NXT UK. Check her out on NXT UK because she's awesome. She's good at NXT UK. And that way you kind of get the casuals like, oh, okay. And you kind of get behind her a little bit. But you sit there and give this whole, I don't know who she is. I don't know who this is. I don't know who this is. You know who this is? No, I don't know. And now nobody knows who this is. So now she's given like this blank slate starting off by being, and I can clearly see what they're doing. You see Eva Marie like, being like, she was given like facial expressions like she don't want nothing to do with Piper, but she wants Piper to do, the work for her, because Piper was so excited that she won, and she went to hug Eva. Eva was like, get off me. And I just feel like we're gonna go down the I'm pretty and you're fat type of storyline. I'm sorry to say. And I think Piper has a lot more to offer than that. She was really impressive in the ring, and I'm hoping that they, just let her do what she needs to do. But it looks like we're not going to get Eva in the ring, which I would say is probably smart. If she's not ready to be in the ring, this is a very smart way to kind of put her in the Raw scene without actually putting her in the ring if she's not ready. I'm sure they're going to have Natalya train her the best that she can or something like that. But yeah, oh my goodness. So yeah, I saw that Piper was trending because people were going crazy that she was on Raw, and I went to turn to it, and that's when I saw the match and the finish, and then Eva grabbing the mic and declaring herself the winner and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's pretty much the same. Like, I wasn't too shocked that we getting Eva, Lucian. But as far as with Piper, it's just a shame. And then people were fat shaming her on Twitter. I'm very happy that the people who I follow and people who follow me aren't those type of people, but apparently people were fat shaming her because it's 2021 and people just don't know what else to say. Next up, the New Day versus the RK Bro. The RK Bro, it's very weird because it's ridiculous, but it works. Like, it definitely gives me like the 90s buddy cop movie type of vibes. Like, you have the veteran serious cop, he seen it all, he done it all, he has, he's done some bad things or something like that. And then you have the the comedian the comedian Rookie Cop that comes in. Like, it gives me, like, Eddie Murphy movie type vibes. I can't think of the movie off the top of my head that it reminds me of, but it definitely reminds me of Eddie Murphy type of vibe. Like, with Riddle. Not comparing Riddle to Eddie Murphy. Don't kill me for that. But I'm just saying as far as, like, the vibe. Like, it's ridiculous, but it works type of situation. I don't know, because we don't have anything else really going on Raw like that. Or the fact that bless Randall over here, able to keep straight faces when Riddle obviously is trying to make him smile or laugh, because Riddle was doing some little things to try to get Randy Orton to laugh, like sitting there singing and dancing to his music and stuff like that. And the end of the match, I forgot what Riddle was trying to do to Randy Orton, but he was like, he raised his arm and stuff like that, and I think he started singing the song again, and then you see Randy Orton like snatch his arm away, but he kept a straight face. So it's really cool, I have to say. But like I said, it's just like weird, but it works at the same time. I don't know what to say. And then we go into Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Asuka's basically just there as well. She is just there to wrestle Rhea Ripley, but the true storyline is Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley. That is coming at Hell in a Cell. Then we had Alexa Bliss segment with Nia Jax. I kind of like skipped through this to the end, and I saw the segment where Alexa Bliss was possessing Reginald. You can see her, she was turning her head, and then he turned his head at the same time as her and stuff like that. Obviously that's where we're gonna go. I guess where we're going from here is Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler possibly breaking up over this, maybe? I don't know. Or we're going to get the ridiculous match of Lily the Doll and Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. That's probably where we're going. I'm kind of glad that we're not going to have a title involved in this, but I see that that's where we're going. And then we had AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre. I didn't get to see why this was happening. Instead of AJ Styles almost, getting into a different feud because they're the champions. But I was like, okay, I'm for AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre. But then we had the Viking Raiders come out. We had the Viking Raiders coming out, and then of course we had to turn into a 6-man tag, and then the 6-man tag took forever. I don't even know how much time it took, but I skipped through it because I was like, I really don't like it. This is something that WWE does, that it's chaos that happens, and then it turns into a second match, and then the second match takes a much longer time. First of all, shout out to Bobby Lashley, who is, turning into Godfather 2021, coming out with the women, and he had his own entrance, the VIP, entrance at the top of the stage. AJ Styles walking through and then almost sitting there trying to get a phone number. AJ Styles sat there and said no. And I'm like, let the man get the woman's number. Obviously, he had a shot. He was trying to talk his way to getting the phone number, and he couldn't, because he had to go and stand guard for AJ Styles. And then at the end we had Drew McIntyre taking out Bobby Lashley, so we know what that's gonna mean for Sunday. But from what I've seen, Raw is what it is. Like, I don't really have expectations for Raw like that anymore, so they can run another Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler running from Lily the Doll, and I won't be like that surprised anymore, because I have low expectations. It's just a shame, because it's just crazy that we have Raw, we have SmackDown, and we have NXT all operating under the same company with like 3 different types of shows. That's the thing that like confuses the heck out of me, because people like, oh, I'll never watch Raw and stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, but you can't, like, it doesn't baffle your mind that this is all from the same company. Like, I get there's a set of writers for Raw, and there's a set of writers for SmackDown, but the same guy who tells the writers to tear up their ideas for SmackDown 2 hours before the show is supposed to start is the same guy who could do the same thing at SmackDown. So I not understand. He can actually technically go and do the same thing at NXT as well. So I'm not understanding where the difference is. And you can say, like, yeah, Raw's the 8th show, it's on USA, but SmackDown is on Fox. SmackDown is on Fox. I don't know if that's the change. Even before it was on Fox, when it was on the USA Network, it was still a complete difference between SmackDown and Raw. Like, what we're getting on SmackDown, we would have definitely not gotten on Raw. Can you imagine? Well, I mean, yeah, we had the Tribal Chief on Raw, but can you imagine if they were trying to do the Tribal Chief on Raw? It wouldn't have worked. Like, it definitely works on SmackDown. That's the confusing thing about it, you know? Yeah, Raw is what it is. So going into my predictions, which is going to be a little bit weird because one of the matches is occurring on SmackDown, but I think it's just going to be a no finish, and then we're going to have it again at the Hell in a Cell. I really don't know what to do. I feel like this is basically the Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon situation all over again, where we knew that the match was coming at WrestleMania, but then they decided to have it at Fastlane, and we knew it was not going to be a no contest, so that they can put it on for WrestleMania. But it is what it is. So I'm just going to go off of these 4 matches, possibly 5th match, with my predictions. So starting out, we have Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler. For this match, we're going to go with Alexa Bliss. I feel like Lily is going to pop in again. I feel like they're going to build this Lily situation onto SmackDown, and then they're going to, run with this Lily situation until Bray Wyatt comes back. I don't know what they're going to do when Bray Wyatt comes back, because the storyline was fine. It was definitely fine with the Fiend and, the Twisted Union and all that other stuff. It was cool. But then we started taking a slight turn when the Fiend got burnt and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know how this is going to work because he's burnt. I don't know. I didn't know how they were going to play it off. But when he came back, I was like, oh, he looks cool, but I don't know what we're going to do with this. And then, he walked through the weekend's hallway from Super Bowl this past year, and he suddenly turned back to normal. And then we got Alexa Bliss turning on him, and now he's gone. I don't know what we're doing here, but I'm going to go with Alexa Bliss on this one. Maybe this will keep going with her until SummerSlam. Maybe that's when Bray Wyatt will come back. But as of right now, I don't know where we're going to go with this. Next up, we have Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship. If Charlotte was to win this, she would have won this. She would have won the title for the 14th time, I believe. Which I don't know. They could go either way. This match could go either way. Now, this match should have ended up in a Hell in a Cell, but we're not getting it for some reason. Like, this can go either way. Like, I could definitely see Charlotte Flair winning this match, but I feel like we can move on with Rhea Ripley onto a different feud, but they really don't have anyone at the top of the ladder on Raw anyway. Like, you can't even do Asuka, because Asuka is just pretty much there. But I'm going to go with Charlotte on this one. I'm going to go with Charlotte to win, and I feel like we're going to continue this match with Rhea Ripley. Now, if Rhea Ripley retains the title, I think we're going to continue this feud between Charlotte. I think if Rhea Ripley retains the title, it may be in a bit of controversy, something like that, so we can continue this feud onto SummerSlam. Because SummerSlam is going to be the biggie. They definitely got to make sure they have all the eggs in the basket, because they're trying to sell out the stadium. Which I'm hearing that they're almost sold out, but this is the biggest pay-per-view event for the fans since the pandemic started. So I think they're definitely going to try to do their best to put on like top tier show. Truthfully, if they don't, then they have problems, really. But I'm gonna go with Charlotte Flair to win this one, and I think she's gonna go on into another feud that will last until SummerSlam. So next up we have Bianca Belair versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I'm gonna go with Bianca Belair to retain. I feel like Bianca Belair is gonna retain the title. I feel that perfect situation is for Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks at SummerSlam. If Sasha Banks is done filming by that time, because we know that she's filming The Mandalorian. We know that she's off filming The Mandalorian then. But I'm going to go with Bianca Belair to retain. And I feel like this could definitely have maybe Sasha Banks coming back. Maybe not. Who knows? But I feel like the best thing to do for Bianca Belair is to have Sasha Banks come back and then have that match, happen in front of a stadium full of fans. That's the best thing to do. Next up, we have Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. This is happening inside of Hell in a Cell. I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley on this one because, when whoever wins the match before the pay-per-view is the one who loses. So Drew McIntyre pinned Bobby Lashley on Raw this past Monday, so we know 9 times out of 10 Bobby Lashley's going to retain. Plus, I like Bobby Lashley with MVP and the title and the women and all that stuff because he has different women every week, and I'm like, clearly this is probably NXT women. I don't know where they're coming from or if these are local women, but they definitely look like they are women from NXT. Then finally, so this match is supposed to happen at SmackDown, but I think maybe it would get a no finish, and then we may get it again because it really makes no sense for them to do this right now. But Rey Mysterio versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship inside Hell in a Cell. First of all, I forgot to even mention this. Poor Dominic. I said this on Twitter. Dominic is slowly turning into Spike Dudley with the way that he is getting just dominated with these spots and everything. Like, I look at Dominic and it reminds me of Spike Lee when he got power bombed by Brock Lesnar onto the trash can many, many moons ago. And the spot on SmackDown where Roman Reigns picked up Dominic and tossed him out of the ring like we were watching another episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was the best thing I've seen. The amount of memes that has come from that photo, I mean, you can clearly say, it's the weekend versus Monday type of situation. It's just like chef's kiss. Like, you gotta love it. But yeah, this if this is gonna happen on SmackDown, maybe Dominic gets involved somehow, and then the Usos come, and then we get it again in the Hell in a Cell. Or we get this match, something happens, and then we get Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Dominic and Rey Mysterio or something. But I know that we're gonna get more matches because we still got the tag team titles as well that isn't really being cared about. We have who else we have? We have Apollo Crews. Is he going to defend his title as well? Who's the other champion on Raw? I'm drawing a blank. Probably because I haven't watched it in so long. Oh my gosh, I forgot who's the current U.S. champion. I'm drawing a blank. But yeah, it's just like we definitely are missing things. We're definitely missing matches, first off. We're missing matches because we only got 5. Normally Normally WWE likes to do a bunch of matches. Probably like maybe 7, maybe 8. Who knows? Intercontinental. Okay, Sheamus. Whew. Oh my gosh. That was a trivia question. Sheamus, and we have Humberto Carlito and Ricochet, who's trying to go after Sheamus. So maybe that happens on the pre-show or something like that. Who knows? We have Apollo Crews with the IC title. Obviously, the SmackDown Tag Team Championship won't be defeated if we have Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio tied up in the Hell in a Cell match. And of course, we got Omos and AJ Styles, who are the tag team champions. Maybe we'll get a match with them and the Viking Raiders. Then we got Tamina and Natalya, who are the women's tag team champions, and maybe we'll get a match between them, Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. Who knows? But yeah, we definitely have an incomplete list of matches, and we definitely need to get the ball rolling so we know all that is going to happen. Yeah, a lot of things happening this week with wrestling. We have we're working towards what are we working towards at AEW? We just had Double or Nothing. So now, normally during the summertime, they have the little special events like Fight for the Fallen. I think, no, we're having there's another event that's coming, and a Road Rager on July 7th. There it is. Fighter Fest happening on July 14th. Night 1 on July 14th, night 2 on July 21st, and then Fight for the Fallen on July 28th. So AEW is going to be very busy in July. Road Rager. There was another one. I could have sworn that we was getting like some Bash at the Beach. Oh, and AEW Dynamite is going to be on Saturday next week. I probably won't be able to catch that because I won't be in town next week. So, it is what it is. I could have sworn we was getting, I could have sworn there was some type of, something else. They had a beach or something like that. Beach Bash or Bash at the Beach or something. I completely forgot. But yeah, very, very interesting week. We had E3 for all my gamers out there. I missed Sony at the E3. As some of you probably don't know, I am team PlayStation because I had PlayStations all my life. But I'm not a hater on Xbox. Since I have a computer, a lot of the games that they showed at E3 was very enticing. Especially Sea of Thieves with Jack Sparrow. Can't wait to play that because that's on PC. But Xbox had a pretty good showing. If you're an Xbox fan, you definitely will love what they showed, especially with the Xbox Game Pass. My daughter actually has an Xbox, so she's Team Xbox. I gave her my old PlayStation. She don't even play it, so she just rather play the Xbox. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what's coming with Square Enix and everything. And yeah, it's just a very, very exciting time to be a gaming fan, because we always get those moments where your mouth drops. Elden Ring, something that everyone is excited for. I didn't even play the Dark Souls games, but I'm excited for that for everyone else as well. We got the Guardians of the Galaxy that I'm excited to play. What else we have? We got more of the Far Cry as well, which I can't wait to see. Battlefield looked very interesting as well. I'm not a big like Call of Duty fan or anything like that, but playing that map on Battlefield was pretty interesting as well. Can't wait till we get part 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I didn't get the DLC for Final Fantasy VII just yet, and I can't wait for Final Fantasy 16 to come as well. And yeah, Age of Empires 4 I'm like interested in as well. And then we got the Avatar game that's coming out, that I know a lot of people are excited for. That's not coming probably for another 2 years or so. But yeah, very exciting week as far as gaming. Can't wait for that to happen. But yeah, that's it for the WrestleBread podcast, though. Thank you so much for listening. Let's give some shout outs. Shout out to Julian and Rob Bass from Wrestling Court Podcast on AlternativeMinds.com. Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay Show. Chris from We Talk Next Podcast, which is featured on the Keita and Jay Show. Nando and Larry from Half K Podcast. And Devin Hafiz from Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. Normally, this is where I would mention a podcast that I listened to this week, but unfortunately, I was very busy. I was so busy at work, I didn't even check out a podcast, unfortunately. However, I was checking out a bunch of a lot of Twitch streams and stuff like that. And I was checking out, first of all, AEW. Evil Uno has a Twitch that was pretty interesting. He normally plays with other people from AEW, and that's always fun to check out. I was also checking out Jessica Havoc's Twitch stream. She plays a lot of Fallout 76, so I was like in and out of it because I haven't played Fallout 76. And I didn't want to get any spoilers, but she was showing off some of the gear that she has in her gaming room and stuff like that. I check out Adam Cole, aka, because he's known as Chugs, Twitch stream. He has an awesome community over there. I don't know if I can say this, but I think I can because it happened on Twitch. But I was in there and he was doing a charity stream with someone. I think his name was Dink. I forgot. And they were allowing people to come join the game, and so I went and joined the game, and it was Fall Guys. And I've been in the lab. Like, if you ever watch Up, Up, Down, Down, you see Cody talking about the lab. That's me. I've been playing Fall Guys for a long, long time, and I've gotten so much better. And so they was playing Fallout Guys not Fallout Guys. Whoa, I'm combining games here. Fall Guys with the viewers, and so I was able to get in one of the matches. And the funny thing is, so whenever Chugs, aka Adam Cole, got eliminated for whatever reason, his the next person that automatically viewed was me. And I was like, oh snap, I'm getting a bit of an audience, bit of pressure here playing in front of this many damn people. And then so towards the end, it was his last match playing, he got eliminated, and then the camera automatically went to my character. And so I was doing the hexagon, and this was like the custom show, but there's a glitch where you can have 60 people play it. If you ever played the hexagon, you know how crazy it is with just 10 people. This had 60 people. And I won a crown in front of everyone, and Chugs cheered me on, and, people, the other streamers congratulate me and stuff. So, I got my moment, my little 15 seconds of fame. And, Adam Cole shout me out. So I'm going to write that down in my wrestling scrapbook somewhere. But yeah, it's fun. Definitely check him out if you have a Twitch channel. He's a really cool guy, outside the Adam Cole character, of course. But his community is really, really sweet. He has a lot of nice people over his community. And check out Evil Uno and Jessica Havoc and all them. It's very cool to see people outside the gimmick, for them to see them as a human, I guess I should say. And to like interact with them, stuff like that on like a gaming level. Is very cool. But yeah, coming next week, I'm going to be reviewing Hell in a Cell for whatever happens. We're going to be talking about what the Tribal Chief did as far as manipulating Jimmy and Jey Uso onto his side. We're also going to see what happens with Raw, if Evolution's going to continue again with Piper, if finally the commentators will know who the hell Piper is at this point, if they all I got to do is just Google. We already tweeted and did the research for them. All you got to do is just look up on Twitter, and everyone would have talked about who this mystery woman is with Eva and where she came from and how awesome she is. Later on down the line, maybe if not next week, then the week of 4th of July. The week before 4th of July, I'm going to do a special episode where I do the best matches from the Great American Bash. So be on the lookout for that as well. Be sure to hop on Twitter and follow me at JaydeeC137. That's JaydeeC137. And follow the podcast at WrestleBread. You can find the podcast on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and wherever, Spotify, Mixler, live on Thursdays, and then wherever you listen to your podcast as well. Thank you so much, Devin. You guys are awesome as always as well. Like I said before, definitely check out Clark Street Wrestling as well. On YouTube, they're live as well on Wednesdays. I forgot what time. I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern. I think it's 8 p.m. Central, if I'm not mistaken. But they're live on YouTube, Facebook. I think I saw Twitch as well. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I might be missing one more, but definitely check them out as well. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know your thoughts of NXT TakeOver. Let me know your predictions for Hell in a Cell and this craziness that's about to happen on Friday as far as a Hell in a Cell match on SmackDown. Okay, Until next time, guys. Peace.